ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
I couldn't tell what was happening there. Okay, you can just cut all this.
I won't.
Hello, class, and welcome back to the Nerd Academy podcast. I am your host and headmaster, Jared, the Dark Jedi Bachman Stubbs, and I am joined by both the producers extraordinaire, Travis Blackleader Grossman, and Joel the Sentinel Basinback.
Hello, hello. How's everyone doing today?
As you guys know, Travis is only a sentient can of soda, so expect nothing but can cracks and bubbles for the rest of this episode.
I drink enough of it that you'd think so, honestly.
And we love you for it. Travis, how was your week, buddy?
Oh man, it was another week in the Corona life. Let me tell you. Update
most
from
of our lives in a COVID paradise.
Yeah. Update from last week. I managed to find a new car before all the dealerships shut down. So, good on me.
It's a slick whip, if I say so myself.
Got a pretty good deal on it. So I went actually to the place that my car got towed to because they have a collision center and also a used car lot. So they didn't have anything there I wanted, but they're like, we have a Johnstown location. We'll check out that website, see if we can find something you like, bring it down here.
Yeah.
We found something I liked. They brought it down there, and it was listed as a 2016 Elantra. And I was like, all right, that's about, like, it was in the price range I wanted. It had less than 10,000 miles on it. I was like, this is good. I'm liking what I'm seeing. I get there to test drive it 2 days later, and they're like, hey, there's a screw up on the website. It's 2018, and it's the same price. So the good news is we're selling it to you at $1,000 loss. The bad news is I can't haggle the price any lower, and we were like, that's okay.
Fair enough, I suppose.
So yeah, I got a pretty good deal on the car. Work has been just as crazy. I mean, like, it finally slowed down a bit on Sunday. And I was telling you guys this when we came into the room, but, like, the problem right now isn't that we don't have the manpower. Because, like, for the past week, the online pickup people haven't been doing online pickup. That's been shut down. The, like, auto center people have been shut down. So they've been helping us stock. The problem is that we just don't have enough stuff.
Yeah, you don't have the product.
You know, in order to properly refill those shelves, we'd probably have to close for like 2 days, and over those 2 days get 5 or 6 trucks for each side. So that would be like 10-ish trucks.
I can only imagine.
It's been wild. Yeah. What's funny though is that now that the store closes at 8:30,
yeah,
the last hour is just so peaceful.
I'm sure.
Like, we would just walk around screaming. Just cause. Like,
oh my god, I'd love to work in that environment.
We'd be stalking. I'm getting as far away from the mic as I can. We'd be stalking and then just randomly while we're putting a box on the shelf go, ah!
Congratulations, Travis. Your actual yell from across the room came up as less than me laughing near the mic.
Yeah. That's
congratulations, you're a pterodactyl.
Yeah. We like to think of it as goblin.
Wait, what was the there's something going around on social media. It's like, I'm not just any girl, or I'm not a regular girl, or something like that.
I'm a raptor girl.
I'm a pterodactyl.
I have like a faint idea of what you're talking about.
I saw something on
and this vaguely sounds like something I would have sent you on TikTok.
Probably. It's like, what else does any of us have to do except
screech
and scroll and
have
screech
existential
and scroll.
crises?
Right. Yeah. A friend of mine has the Mercyhurst little figurine, like, gates. You know what I mean, like the little desk things. And they also have one of those worms, those on the string worms, and they were like, me leaving Mercyhurst for the last time just pulls the worm through the gates, and I'm like, I just burst out of it. Like, everyone's making gold on social media right now.
Yeah.
I had to email my one professor because I haven't been keeping up with my own, like I haven't had a lot to do, but my English class is a very regimented schedule already because it was half online as it was.
Sure.
And so my teacher emailed me and was like, hey, is everything okay? You didn't, like, turn in this assignment. You've been pretty on top of things. And I had to explain, like, yeah, over the past week, I had to find a new car in the middle of all the hubbub. while also just like having the mental strain of working in the most high stress environment that isn't a doctor's office right now. You know?
Right.
And she was like, and this is her exact wording in the email. Wow, that sounds like a shit show. Good luck.
Real recognizes real.
Yeah.
I suppose.
And then we'll talk about how we've been filling our other time later. But
Yeah.
I've recently discovered my new favorite stand-up comedian.
He's taken that spot.
He's taken that spot.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who?
Daniel Sloss, the guy we watched whenever we came back from the club.
That you fell asleep halfway through the show.
Well, okay. There were other
I was
factors
gonna say,
involved in that one.
Obviously, you were enjoying the stuff you watched. It's just
Absolutely.
that you were also slightly liquored up.
Cut to Mike Doling, a very, very dedicated theologian. Like, for whatever reason, we paused it for a half a second, and his mic was like taking off his pants to go to sleep. Under his breath, just goes, "I feel so sorry for this man. He's so sad. Why doesn't he let God love him?" Like,
Yeah.
in a very Mike Doling, very attached to
Yeah.
his faith way. Not that we're making fun of Mike. I would love to see Mike Doling and Daniel Sloss sit down at a table together.
Oh, fucking Jesus. I couldn't deal with that. That would get me that would shoot my blood pressure through the roof. I couldn't deal with that.
Yeah.
Not even a bit.
Not a comedian we're showing, Spencer.
Probably not. He doesn't do, like, X doesn't have any
Yeah?
atheist jokes, and then the other two shows each have one. And it's like,
Okay.
You
I think
know,
Spencer would make it out fine then.
yeah.
There's also a
Not that
level of
Spencer's
like knowing that most of the time those who are making the jokes are making them because they know they're going to get laughs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like there's a certain amount of taking it with a grain of salt.
That's how he treats a lot of his comedy, is that,
right.
like,
You have to do what people want to hear sometimes.
One of my favorite quotes he has is, if you're going to get offended at one of my jokes, at least have the common decency to get offended by all of them.
Right.
Well, he also has a little bit, and we can save the rest of the Sloss talk for later. But he also has a bit where he's talking about the fact he's like, I understand why people are offended by these jokes, and he's like, and he basically says, I'm not offended by the fact that you're offended. You have every right to be. And then talks about how, like, the different ways in which people have reacted to his jokes about religion and spirituality. So,
sorry, we really got off topic there. We were doing.
I'm getting back to it later. So
yeah.
because I want to talk about him a lot, because I like him a lot. Joel, how was your week?
Oh wow. My week was good. I mean, hanging out with you guys most of the time. Finally being able to spend a lot of time on the podcast.
Yeah.
Apart from the social life that doesn't exist anymore. So I was telling these guys I was sitting down with my editing softwares and all of my graphics design stuff up, just going through the website, finishing up, catching up on a lot of the YouTube renderings and whatnot, which is all my fault because things got busy real quick. But other than that, I've been enjoying family time as much as I can. At one point or another, definitely was like, all right, I'm going to retreat to my room now.
Yep.
Still at it. Classes finally started back up again this morning. This is Monday the 23rd.
Yep.
So we finally got our classes back up and running. So over the next few days, I'll be studying for a lot of exams. Also, I finally got an email from my university essentially saying, okay, you have 3 options. You have to register to get your stuff off.
Register your superpowers with SHIELD and the U.S. government.
Something like that. You have to register to come back on campus to get your stuff. So they know you're on campus, when you're on campus, etc. And there were 3 options. The first option was, okay, I would like to get my stuff now pending approval by Residence Life. The second option was, I would like to get my stuff in the next several weeks. I think you know the option I chose. I'd prefer to get it now or as soon as possible. So who knows, I might even tomorrow be driving up at some point while I still have class at 9:30 and I'll be in the car with my... I wouldn't be driving.
God,
obviously.
ain't that about a bitch?
Right.
That's hilarious. I'm on my way to school, 4 hours away, listening to my class.
To get my shit and leave.
Right.
This is so absurd. It's like same. What the hell was that? Or was that me?
I heard that, but I don't know what it was.
Well, the ghost in the soundboard is back, I guess.
That
Maybe
might
he
have been
left
me
co-
squeaking.
Yeah, so he left Cookie Cop for a minute. Now he's just gonna huddle in the soundboard. There he is.
We actually found one of our adapters was actually faulty, so you might even notice it's a little crisper.
Yeah.
So
Be careful.
not-
There's ducks in Cookie Cop.
Is there ducks in Cookie Cop?
Yeah, there's ducks in Cookie Cop. But
Jared, how was your week?
yeah, I can say nothing but uneventful.
You know,
Yeah.
the video you sent me of you and your sister yesterday.
stuck to the table.
He did not want move from his domain.
Apparently not. He consumes ducks.
He does. The souls of the duckies.
Stop! Move away from the cookie jar.
We all needed that in these trying times.
That we did. We also need bottles of hydrogen peroxide and pure ethanol, but that's besides the point.
And toilet paper. What were you saying, Joel? About the video? Of Kira beating the absolute piss out of me?
Yeah, that I burst out laughing. I thought it was gold. Yeah, it's just one more thing that I can just be like, people during this horrible time are at least creating quality content.
You know, yeah. And what was really funny was he was already beating me with a pillow. And then, like, I think she realized she was filming because she, like, hit me in the head with it. And I was like, ah! And then, like, she, like, kind of did, like, a very, like, Thor with Mjolnir style, like, bring it back and rev it back up for round 2. And, like, she went, like, overhand to hit me in the head and then reared it back like a right hook and then came right back around. I was like, okay, kid, I see you. You can scrap. But yeah, I've been watching a lot of television.
Yeah, that's
Catching up on some stuff, and that's all going to be saved for the end of the show. Because there's not a whole lot to talk about outside.
do you know how Jimmy Fallon's been doing the Tonight Show, but from home?
I haven't really watched much of it. I did see clips from his talk with
Lin-Manuel Miranda.
our God and Savior.
That's from that. Yeah, from like that was the second night of it. But he's been doing it every single night. The Tonight Show. It's hilarious. I don't watch the interviews, which is probably why most people would watch it, but I'm mainly watching it for the comedy that is him and his family, and him dealing with his family while he's doing this. His wife is recording, probably with her phone or something, and like the children are just attacking him, and he's like playing it off in that perfect, you can't be mad at him for being a parent.
Yeah.
But probably is kind of doing it just to get us to feel that way at the
Which
same
is
time.
funny when you look back at his time on SNL, and he was infamous for the fact that if a sketch was even moderately funny, he could not keep a straight face during it. And I know you're not a huge SNL guy, Joel, but whenever they did their like big 40 years of SNL special,
Right.
and they had like everybody there just to celebrate the institution that is Saturday Night Live.
Right.
They even had like a little digital skit designed to make fun of the fact that was like, it was a music video montage dedicated to, quote, all the times Jimmy screwed up a skit. And it was literally just a supercut of like moderately funny punchline and then Jimmy Fallon having to bury his face in Horatio Sands' shoulder because he just couldn't stop laughing.
Right.
Right up there with like Debbie Downer.
Right.
And him just falling apart. Like someone gives him a side eye and Jimmy Fallon's just gone. That's one of the reasons why I don't get on the Jimmy Fallon laughs at anything bandwagon, and how I know a lot of people shit on him. Because they're like, Jimmy Fallon, like his guest will sneeze and he's like, ah! I'm like, because he has a super low threshold for what makes him laugh his ass off.
Yeah, I don't like. It's a factual that he laughs at everything. I'm not saying it's negative. It makes his interviews hard to watch for sure, but it's not like he's doing it thinking he has to. He's just generally a laughy guy.
But that makes him like perfect for the role, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely
keeps things light.
This is such a tangential conversation, and I don't mind it because we don't have a lot to talk about anyway. I think it's what sets Fallon apart from a lot of his predecessors as a Tonight Show host, because there was very much that, like, I don't want to go so far as to say that Carson or Leno or even Conan O'Brien didn't feel like that there was a level of like, oh, I kind of don't want to be here. I'm just going to pal around with you for a little bit. But like there was a little bit of stoicism back in ye olde day of Johnny Carson and Jay Leno.
Sure.
That like Jimmy Fallon is just so clearly happy to be here.
Right.
That like I love. Like Jay Leno and Johnny Carson, they kind of had that feeling of like, oh, it's just another day of me hanging out with the
I'm hired to
A-list.
do this job.
Not even hired to do this job, because like they clearly seemed like they enjoyed it. But there was like a level of
a clear difference between
there was something just purely casual about they did it, and with Jimmy Fallon, like every celebrity is an event for him.
I can't believe they keep paying me.
Yeah. It's like they're paying me to talk to famous people and laugh at them, and this is easy for me. So yeah, that's why I like Fallon a lot as a host. As somebody who watched The Tonight Show at the age of like 9 and 10, like still watched when Leno was on.
Yeah.
Which made me such a strange child. I remember the first time I ever walked into elementary school and said, "Hey, did you watch Jay Leno last night?" And the teachers were like, "Are you okay?"
Did he touch you in a weird place?
Small children watching The Tonight Show before it was cool. With that, we're going to get into our very limited news this week. The first off is a very, matter-of-fact story. Black Widow has officially joined the ranks of movies that have been pushed back indefinitely due to coronavirus. This is not a surprise to anybody, as it did have a May 1st release date, and it doesn't look like things are going to be letting up anytime soon. That said, after only 2 weeks in the theaters, Disney has made the push to digitally release Disney Pixar's Onward on home release very soon. Which, Travis, you, I, and a couple friends had the pleasure of seeing that together.
Yes.
Quite liked it a lot.
On our own in the theater.
Yes, it was just the four of us. And at one point, this is not anything against Onward, I did in fact fall asleep.
You did, and it was quite funny. And I got to very loudly in a movie theater shout about it and laugh, and it was great.
The other day...
The most off-putting thing about the whole experience, though, was that they had a Simpsons short at the top of the film.
A very funny Simpsons short that was made only funnier by the fact that it was attached to a Pixar flick.
Yeah, like it was so weird.
And I think that was the moment where it finally occurred to me that Disney owns The Simpsons.
Yeah.
You know? Like, holy shit, this is real. But yeah, with Disney announcing that they're going to push Onward to a digital or to streaming in some capacity here.
And they said they're just pushing back Black Widow.
Yes, as of now, Black Widow, like Mulan, are indefinitely delayed.
Okay.
As far as the release goes. However, depending on how long this doesn't let up, there's this morbid curiosity I have. What is it gonna do to theaters when these two huge blockbusters, two movies that could very feasibly be two of the top 5 to 10 grossing movies of the year?
Oh, without a doubt.
What will that do? And I
stand by it that there's no way that theaters will ever stop being very prominent.
I don't know, man.
I hope you're right.
No,
I don't think you are, but I hope you are.
There's no way. I get it. I get that it's definitely going to take a big chunk out of it. Like,
well, even like, not even just these movies getting pushed back, but also the fact that most theaters just aren't open, and they haven't been and won't be open for several weeks.
Right.
That
although they're going to have, well, the majority of every single American, let alone everyone in the entire world, is taking a huge economic hit right now. And I'm a true believer that I'm hoping, like, and praying that it'll bounce back as well as I think it will. But the point being is it's a premium that people are willing to spend money on. If you take a theater out of, like, if AMC went out of business here in the local area, and the Latrobe 30 theater went out, and there's no more theaters in the area, people are gonna throw a tantrum.
Yeah,
because that is something that we love in this area.
You're right.
Within America.
They will throw a tantrum, but also, and then this is one of those things that Because you got to remember, most theaters bring in their revenue from food and crowds. And they don't see a whole lot on those ticket prices.
Right. No, they get like 10 cents on a ticket.
So you got to figure, let's say we have your average family of 4. And, like let's lessen the cost even more. Let's say they're only coming the third week, whenever like that ticket price hike is over. Let's say they're coming on the third or fourth week of a movie's release.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say that they're there. We're looking at, depending on the time they come, let's even give them matinee prices, like during the day. At our local AMC, at a low cost of living place, you're looking at $7.99 a ticket. So just for those...
Well, I'll tell you, in Erie, when I go to the movies, matinee price is $6.
Okay, so we're looking at $31.96 just for the 4 of them to get into the movie. Now let's account for the fact, let's say they get 1 large popcorn, we'll call that $8, and get 1 large drink for everybody to share. Let's call that another $8, as it pretty much is, as someone who used to work there. We're looking at $47.96. We're just barely under $50. For the price of what Universal currently is offering to do with those 3 movies plus Trolls 2, is looking at a $19.99 for you to watch the movie at home. That on its face has cut the cost insurmountably for that to be a more viable option. And now you can account for the fact that maybe we just order a pizza or something. Granted, right now that doesn't work. But.
You are accounting for the fact, you're taking it from a perspective of for the feasibility for the theater company on prices. But when it really comes down to it, the majority of people who go to the movies do not really think about the price too much.
Dude, that's not true.
I very much beg to differ.
Fucking Armin from Comic Book Cast. On CBC, they talk all the time about how families and theaters or how families who go to theaters, that is, they go to maybe 1, 2, 3 movies a year. Because you run into that fact where like, and granted, like all you can go off is your own personal experience. So for your family or for me as an individual,
we go a lot.
We not only do we go a lot, we don't care really. Because at that point, we love the theater going experience. But when you're looking at the people who are demographically spending the most at those movie theaters, plus you got to figure, again, not all areas have a movie theater 5 minutes from you that is, kind of cozy, kind of rinky-dink, but kind of homey. And then like an actual cinema only 15 minutes away, next to a bunch of great bars and restaurants. So in the big picture, in areas where people have to take a little bit of a hike to get to another movie theater, that's a little bit longer than just 15, 20, 30 minutes away, depending on traffic. You're looking at a situation where you have to pack up the kids, you have to get the kids ready, get the kids dressed, get them in the car. Maybe they're acting like assholes in the car, get in the movie theater, get everybody situated, pay for tickets, and, again, bare minimum, not even accounting for like candy and shit.
You're speaking demographic, but you also have to consider the fact that most families that go to the movies don't take their children if they're young children.
It depends on what they're. I mean, like,
I've worked in a theater. You know this.
I know, we both have,
and I will tell you that 99% of the time, I will take an entire shift not see one child under the age of 10.
Under the age of 10. And at this point, that doesn't change how big the group is. It doesn't matter if they're all under the age of 10. Cool. You're still bringing a
but the majority of people who go to see the movies, it's usually 2 or 3 max.
Okay, 2 or 3. Again, then let's subtract like $7.99 from this. Okay, that's still $39.97. You're still looking at what will be a massive cut cost for the audience and for the consumers. And that's the biggest thing.
I mean, I'm not arguing the fact that I know the prices are outrageous.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is that there might come a point here where, especially for kids, like little kids, like we look back on like I love going to the movie theater because I love going to the movie theater as a kid. I don't think like a kid like Kira's age necessarily does not have the nostalgia of the theater environment ingrained into her yet. She has the movies that she's seen and the people she's seen them with. But I don't think that the idea of I'm in a movie theater consuming art is in her head yet. Not in the way that it is ingrained into you or me or Travis or whomever our age. And that's what I'm saying, is that like there's a real risk for the theaters right now. Because families are going to get more and more okay with skipping the process.
Even not families, but like...
Yeah, even just normal people.
Yeah.
Which,
Like,
again, I can't blame them for
you
that.
live with your significant other, you want to have a date night, you don't feel like going out because like...
Just get a movie online.
Yeah, or get a movie online, but you want to see something new, but if that's available, why would you go out? And especially like, not even taking... When you take the date night price, right? And let's say they live... I'm trying to think of someone that's BFE, Montana, right? Tickets maybe are $8, but you want to go to a nice restaurant. Maybe dinner's like $20. So now you're seeing the movie in your home for what dinner was. You're saving on the tickets. Maybe you order a pizza for like 10.
Right.
Right. And so you get to stay in, see your movie with a significant other. Plus the social aspect. Part of the reason I don't like going to, I love going to a theater. Like
Yeah.
I'm in the same boat as you guys. I'd be sad to see them go. But I do also really love the social aspect of watching a movie and having the banter. Like while you watch it, and you can't do that. Like that was why I liked going. Like when we went onward, we realized we're the only 4 in this theater.
Yeah,
It was so cool. But like,
choo choo.
I'm gonna go fight a
There's
train.
an actual train.
Oh yeah, that happens a lot. I yell at it every once in a while, but then they don't hear the train because it comes out the noise reduction.
Back in the olden days when we were with a different group of people and we were recording the episode that we recorded, both the Far From Home review and the Far From Home prediction cast, there was so much traffic with the trains. For one of those, I thought he was going to have a stroke. Like,
All right, we got to stay on topic here because this is a serious conversation.
It is, yeah.
But yeah, so I would rather if we wanted to see Black Widow when it comes out.
Yeah.
Right? And it's $20. We all pitch in like 5 or something. And then whoever that all is, if there's like 6 of us, 7 of us, we all pitch in 5. Some
You
of that
get more
covers the
money out
movie.
of more bang for your buck than more people you have.
Some of that covers the movie, and then the rest goes to getting food and drink, and we just chill and have a good night while we get to watch this movie that we haven't seen before. We get to rip on it while we watch it.
Arguably a better experience. And you also have the opportunity. I mean, think about it with virtual reality or...
Whoa, boy.
Well, let me turn that off. I muted it. Don't worry.
Okay. Well, I still have to get rid of the notification.
That's so funny.
So
think about virtual reality. He's dying.
that's it. That killed him.
We're done. And all right, so if you
That
want
was
to find
so
us, you can find us on
fucking ghetto. Oh my
www.thenerdacademypodcast.com, or you can support us on our Patreon channel.
Patreon.com/The Nerd Academy Podcast.
Please support us.
Anyway.
We need your support to keep this thing running. Anyways,
Yes.
so virtual reality, augmented reality, things like that. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the future. It's the present. And I mean, I had the privilege of using my roommate up at college's. It's the newest version of the Oculus Rift.
You got to use him.
Oh, shut up.
Use and abuse.
So I got to use his Oculus Rift,
use you.
and it's amazing.
Some of
And it has
them
the hand controls and
Yeah.
everything. And you can sit there on your couch at home and watch a movie in a theater setting.
Yep.
I mean, obviously it's not the same, and improvements will come. But imagine being able to sit in a room with your friends from other homes,
Yeah.
rent a single movie, and watch it together on augmented reality or virtual
Yeah,
reality.
and I Grant, my frame of reference for this kind of thing is always from the general public, because again, between us, how many the 3 people at this table right now, how many times did we all see Avengers Endgame?
I saw it 3 times.
Okay.
I think.
3 plus me is 11. How many times for you?
Sorry, what movie?
Endgame.
Yeah.
At least 4.
Okay, so we got 15 between us. Just think, and again, again, general movie-going population is gonna be those families for your Disney Pixar flicks, for like just your general, just PG to PG-13 movies. It is so much more cost-effective for a family that has to support.
Now, it is of note that those keys only work for 2 days. You pay $20 and you have access to it's a rental and you have access for 48 hours.
Well, here's the thing. Here's another question. Because I think it's Google or YouTube, whichever. I think they're both essentially the same thing when you rent a movie. It goes through.
it's the same
You're pretty
company.
much doing
Right.
it through YouTube, yeah.
It's the same company.
Yeah.
Right. When you get the movie, it has 2 stipulations. You get it for 48 hours or until completion. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's
So
Amazon.
if you complete the movie, that's it. It doesn't matter your 48 hours.
That's how I watched the original It. Because of how long it is, I had to watch it in increments within 2 days.
I think Amazon's similar. I don't know if they have the thing like when it finishes, it goes away, but I know they have the 2 days. Like once you've started it, you have 48 hours.
That's another interesting question: is if Disney and Universal do this differently, do they pressure Google to change the way they do it? There's a lot of weird things on the way in the entertainment industry, and again,
Absolutely.
there's so much real news and so many people who are being affected that are, really hurting right now. This is not the most important thing, but this is what we cover and this is what we love. At least for me, So like, I find this specifically fascinating.
Keeps us preoccupied from the other like ridiculous shit.
Yeah. Like Donald Trump telling people to gargle things that chemically don't go well together.
Okay, moving forward.
Well, it doesn't get any less political here.
You're right. It's only getting worse.
It's a perfect moment to say that if you are a patron on our Patreon channel, you get to submit Q&A questions for our Q&A video.
That's true.
So please, if you are interested, it only
$1.
$1, and you get to submit Q&A questions, and it helps us out tremendously. Please go into our Patreon channel and submit those questions ASAP, because our Q&A video will be recorded within the next week, I believe.
Probably.
Yeah, at some point in that timeline. So, don't send me memes right now, Spencer. You're not on the show. You don't get to talk to me for as long as we're
Don't
recording.
forget there's a pause button. You can go do that now and come back.
So, we don't get a chance to talk about actual comics very often because a lot of that news is it moves at a breakneck pace, even faster than what this stuff does, and it's really hard to keep up with, and I'm doing my best to stay up to date on comics as is. I'll talk more about that later. However, this has been big news in the entertainment sphere, so we're going to talk about it, especially because a lot of the conversations happening around it have not been in very good faith.
I'm surprised one of them wasn't named fake news. I'm sorry, you said big news, and that was all I could think about.
I don't know if you saw my tweet like right before we started today. I was like, "Oh, guys, I'm so sorry. I've relapsed.
Yeah,
I watched a Phantom Menace YouTube video, and now I'm stuck in the rabbit hole again." Oh God, I couldn't help it. I don't know why. Like YouTube is like enabling my addiction to watch really bad content about this stuff. Because out of nowhere, because I watched like a couple Comic Drake videos the other day, one of them about this, and Comic Drake is like not one of those assholes who are like, "Ooh, forced diversity, get women and black people out of my comics." But he also was very in the way that we're going to talk about this. Like, okay, I get what you're going for, but this is kind of misguided.
But why?
But why are you doing it this way? A World Class Bullshitters video popped up, and I was like, no. This is just going to cost me brain cells. I don't need to watch this.
And you spent those brain cells unwisely.
I don't need to watch this. I just kept staring at it. I'm like, okay, brain cells for incels, I guess. And clicked on it anyway. So, Marvel superhero team, the New Warriors, is getting a new lineup. I'm going to read directly from this article from Marvel.com themselves, published on the 17th. When Kamala's law goes into effect, in the highly anticipated one-shot Outlawed, superheroics will be left to the adults, and underage heroes will be banned unless they have official government-assigned mentors. That's where the New Warriors come in. Former teen vigilante Night Thrasher, Night Thrasher, Firestar, Rage, Speedball, Namorita, and Silhouette step up to impart their wisdom on a bunch of promising young kids, teaching them the ins and outs of surviving as a hero in the Marvel Universe. But will they be able to bridge the generation gap? The group of all new characters were created by Emmy-nominated writer Daniel Kibblesmith and rising superstar Luciano Vichito. So here's our lineup for the team. Oh, Jesus Christ. You know, there's the two that everybody's talking about, but none of them are great.
They're all bad.
There's Screen Time. A meme-obsessed super teen whose brain becomes connected to the internet after becoming exposed to his grandfather's experimental internet gas. Now he can see augmented reality and real-time maps and can instantly Google any fact. Does this make him...
That's exactly how I feel.
That was not a special effect. Travis screamed into a pillow right next to the microphone.
And somehow you saying that and laughing was louder.
Fuck, I'm sorry. Does this make him effectively a genius? He sure acts like it does. I wanted to have teen characters who felt as quote unquote now as the New Warriors did in the 90s, explains Kibblesmith. Yes, because going back to the 90s as far as comics are concerned is a great idea.
Nothing bad ever came out of the 90s.
The New Warriors have been the zeitgeist characters from the beginning, and you get edgy skateboarding Night Thrasher in the 90s and the reality TV team in the 2000s. And now in 2020, we have the New Warriors who had never grown up without the internet, and one character who essentially seems to live inside of it. The word screen time is only ever used in a sort of restrictive sense, and because we're doing a story about teenage rebels, a lot of the names are about teens fighting labels that are put on them. So with screen time, we like the idea that he has infinite screen time. All right, here are the ones we all know about, and we're going to talk about all of this in one go.
I hate this so much.
We have the psychic twins, Snowflake, and Safe Space. All twins are psychic, but we're psychic-er, says Snowflake. She's a cryomancer, kind of like Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat, and can materialize snowflake-shaped shuriken projectiles for throwing. Safe Space can materialize pink force fields, but he can't inhabit them himself. The reflex only works if he's protecting others. They're hyper-aware of the modern culture and optics, and they see their superheroics as a post-ironic meditation on using violence to combat bullying. They're probably streaming this. Snowflake and Safe Space are twins, the writer says, and as their names are very similar to Screen Time, it's the idea that these are terms that get thrown around on the internet they don't see as derogatory. They take those words and kind of wear them as badges of honor in a sense. Safe Space is this big, burly, sort of stereotypical jock. He can create force fields, but he can only trigger them if he's protecting someone else. Snowflake is non-binary and goes by they-them pronouns, and has the power to generate individual crystallized snowflake-shaped shurikens, like it said earlier. Snowflake is the person who has the more offensive power, and Safe Space is the one who has the more defensive power. The idea is they would mirror each other.
They would what?
They would mirror each other. This isn't Star Wars.
That's not what you said.
This isn't Star Wars. And complement each other's powers. We have B negative. It is a vampire. A teen, quote-unquote, living vampire exposed to Michael Morbius' blood as a child in a rogue but life-saving medical procedure. He still ages like a regular kid, but has all the abilities of Morbius. From the hit blockbuster coming out this year, Morbius.
Morbius.
He's also obsessed with all the music and attitude of a classic long past decades like the 90s and 2000s. The world is a vampire, and so am I. Being negative is the goth kid. When he was a baby, he got a rogue life-saving blood transfusion, which we assume from Michael Morbius, and now he's a very similar look to Morbius himself, and very similar vampire powers. Being negative ages... Okay, this is just them repeating the same fucking thing. Oh, okay, cool. nice little Easter egg here that I like. B negative has like the little leech hands that Morbius had in the animated series. We have Trailblazer, a regular kid scooped up into the world of teenage superheroing. Her quote-unquote magic backpack is actually a pocket dimension with seemingly infinite space from which she can pull out useful or random objects. It's not always under her control. She claims to get her power from God, but not the God you're thinking of. She's a group home foster kid who is volunteering at a senior center when this mysterious threat shows up and Night Thrasher runs to the rescue. And because she helps him, she ends up in the crosshairs of the new outlawed law. Trailblazer wants to help people, but she doesn't think of herself as a superhero quite yet. The Marvel Universe is a reflection of our own, and when a new law gets put into place, it affects people in unforeseen ways. And then another thing, I don't even want to say a point of contention. It doesn't say here, looking at the way that she's drawn, Trailblazer is of African-American descent. She is also plus size, which was also a point of internet assholes having a field day with this. Because how in the actual fuck wouldn't they?
I'm just sitting here like twiddling my thumb. I'm like,
I could see how this idea gets brought up in the boardroom. How does it make it through the like character design, how
I was making fun of
there's
this
so
since
many
screen time.
There's so many meetings that this has to make it through. So many different checkpoints in the creative process.
We're assuming that there are checkpoints in this creative process.
There has to be, right? But like how did it check?
Someone had to go, yes.
Written by 2 white men, by the way. Just want to put that out there. Like,
who on God's not very green anymore Earth thought, I know. Let's make this look as bad as possible. Like what? Who?
I will say this much. I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate here. Aside from the incredibly corny, like, naming conventions and everything
like
here.
Some shit out of an after-school special.
It does.
That we saw from the Be Cool Penguin.
You're right. You're absolutely right about all of that.
I hate
in defense. I like seeing new heroes. I like seeing new characters. And as far as very loose backstories, because obviously they're not going to give us the whole thing in like a random article. As far as general background and a power set is confirmed or is concerned, I like it.
Yeah, no, literally my only issue with any of these is like their names. Right?
Yeah, and
like,
I understand. And yeah. And with the whole, like, oh, we're taking back these...
We're making it more empowered, says 2 white guys who don't know what that means at all. Are you fucking kidding me? How? Like...
I don't understand. Then that's my biggest thing, is, like, if you actually left the writing of these stories in the hands of a diverse writing team, I don't think you end up with something this tactless and on the nose. And this is coming from a podcast and a group of people that want to see a diverse universe of characters, that is happy with the fact that this team has 3 black people on it. And not that I could tell, but like I can't tell what Screen Time's ethnicity is, because like he's basically washed in green because of his costume. And it seems like there's a lot of LEDs happening on the costume that like kind of makes him look greenish. Mm-hmm. So I can't tell if they're trying to do something with him as far as his ethnicity goes. But like, I understand like having this diverse group of heroes, having one of them being non-binary. You know, it did. I don't remember it mentioning if any of them were LGBTQ in other regards. Like
Snowflake.
Yeah,
maybe.
Well, Snowflake is the one who's non-binary. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And again, there's pairings here that I think is interesting, that like, you know, Snowflake is the one that is the scrapper here. She's the brawler. And
they're the brawler.
They're the brawler. Shit, I didn't realize I did that. Thank you. I apologize. I
Says two white guys.
They are the brawler.
We're trying.
You're right. We are. Unlike some other people.
Other people would not try.
We're trying. I keep saying that because the reason I'm trying not to say my brain is making me not say they is because they're introduced as like a pair.
So you're saying they as in like
my brain is like conflicted, like not even necessarily conflicted, but when I
with
keep wanting to say
plurality and
the singularity, yeah, because I want to get to the fact that Snowflake and Safe Space would make a great team. Like just the pairing of those powers,
is so cool. Except, why would you call them the dumbest fucking names ever?
Exactly. Like the whole Cryomancer thing teaming up with somebody. I can already see, I know you're behind on Clone Wars, Travis. I can almost see, like in the first episode of the Bad Batch arc, Joel.
Yeah.
I can almost see Safe Space, like in my mind, like projecting one of those force fields and just letting Snowflake run behind it and just fucking plumping motherfuckers full of ice shurikens. Like, you know, I can already see how you can. I can see how great of a pairing the powers between those two are. But this is just so on the nose. And I apologize again for not using the right pronoun there, because they are written for she to not be what's used. But this is just so head scratching, especially with the culture right now.
Compare this to. We're getting another Green Lantern rebranding. Like, we're getting another new Lantern.
Yeah, the 5G thing with DC, yeah.
And, like, imagine they introduce a new Lantern. They use they, them pronouns.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not white. You know, like, Green Lantern Corps with DC is how they tend to introduce more, like, diversity.
Yeah.
Which I love because I love the Lantern Corps. But, like... They're like, hey, we have this new lantern. They use they, them pronouns. Maybe they're like ace too. I don't know. I throw a dart at a board, as most of these white writers tend to. You know, like, but maybe they use they, them pronouns, or they're ace, or whatever. This doesn't get nearly the hubbub that we're giving this.
Yeah.
Because, like, oh, cool. We have another diverse lantern. This is awesome. More reasons to love the Lantern Corps.
Yeah.
Even if it was a new hero, right? Like, I can't wrap my head, or like, I could even see this being their test names. Like, you know, like in Magic the Gathering, they have, when they're testing cards, they don't give the card a real name. They give it like
an ID number,
or like maybe like it's a creature when it enters the battlefield, it makes a rat token or something. So they just call it Ratman. But then they change the name to something, you know,
not Ratman.
Sure.
That, like, I could see them being like, the whole point is to make fun of the name, the term Snowflake. We're going to call them Snowflake in the testing process while we develop who the character is, what they look like, what their power set is.
But this is the official.
This is the name,
release.
And they're like, okay. And
someone forgot to notify them.
Yeah, it was just like somewhere in the process where they were supposed to come up with a real name, they were just like, we'll get to that. And then this press release came out, and someone just got fired, hopefully. Like,
and that's the other thing that boggles my mind, is that, like, the other names for the other members of the team,
like Trailblazer, whatever.
Yeah, it's screen time. Okay,
I hate screen time for different reasons.
B negative. Okay, whatever.
B negative's funny. I don't mind B negative.
Yeah, but like the fact that
screen time, I want to punch in the face. I don't know what he looks like. I want to punch him.
I'll let you flip through the.
I want to punch them in the face.
The costume design is.
I want to punch them or whoever gave them that name in the face.
Okay, I forgot. For whatever reason, I was imagining this glowing a little bit more in my mind. It's very like screen time is very Ben 10-ian.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. I was looking for something.
There's Snowflake in Safe Space.
Why?
There's B negative.
Oh my god, he's perfect.
Travis has a new favorite new warrior. And then this is Trailblazer.
Okay.
And I just don't understand the plan here. I really don't, because all this stuff, the amount of people, like left-wing people, who like fall where where I fall politically, which is a little bit further left than you guys, because like we like we
For
joke.
me, it's a little.
For you, it's a little. You're,
depends
you're
on the-
very
Me,
middle
me
of
a
the
lot
road.
more.
It
but-
depends on
Yeah.
the day. Some days that like it's
Yeah, on other days I'm drunk screaming in a bar that the only way to save the United States is with socialism. So you
Right, we have video evidence.
we do.
You
it's
do have
great.
video evidence. Thank you, Alexis, for saving that video. But even people who skew my way and us are like, okay, this is fantastic representation. What the fuck are you doing? You are asking for your world-class bullshitters and geeks and gamers and doomcocks of the world to set upon this like goddamn vultures. You are making them money on the clicks that they will get off of videos in their car eating a burger, screaming about this shit. I'm sorry, Travis.
No, you're fine. The worst part about it though isn't even that they're going to attack, because like, again, whoever came up with those names deserves to be hit. But like, what makes it worse is that then they're going to make fun of those characters, and people that identify with those characters are going to feel attacked just as bad.
Yeah.
It's gonna
And
snowball.
why? And again, why would you?
It's going to snowball. You son.
Yeah, go. You're fired. Go.
I own this.
And by doing that, and you're exactly right, Travis, and making this environment more hostile for people who aren't your straight white het cis man. I know straight het are the same thing. I don't know why I end up saying them back to back every time I say that.
If you're straight times straight, does that mean you're not straight?
Or straight squared. What is straight squared?
Straight squared.
Well, if you consider not straight a negative. No, if you consider if you consider straight a negative and you have straight squared, then the negatives cancel out and therefore then you're not straight.
We learned a lot about the fandom menace today. We love you. We love you. Love is love. You create an environment that makes it so that people who don't fit that very narrow demographic aren't interested in the work anymore. It creates that environment where anytime there's a new female character introduced to Star Wars,
Nothing bad happens at all.
Yeah, dudes lose their goddamn minds. So, like again, I have a legitimate respect and love and compassion for any woman who is a Star Wars fan, because this community is not nice to you. Like, even the people who make the movies sometimes are a dick to you, and I'm sorry for that. And don't take ownership of them. But you just make this harder to get into. I understand what they're going for, but we could all be eating our words. In a year's time, this could be one of their best-selling books. In a year's time, there could be an argument made that this caused such a brouhaha that people looked into it and went, okay, maybe the names are goofy, but these characters are fucking great.
But it's not a year's time from now, so therefore we can do it.
You're right, and I'm saying, like, I want to get to a point where we can eat our words.
The same.
And like this article said, the new Warriors have this like really goofy place in my heart. Because
What are their names?
Of the current team?
Of the writers.
I just had it. Where'd it go? Daniel Kibblesmith and Luciano Vecchio.
Vuccio
Yeah.
and Kibblesmith.
Yeah.
All right, listen here, Vuccio and Kibblesmith. We're calling you out. This is a challenge, all right? You make us eat our words a year from now. And
I
we'll
hope
be
we do.
happy.
I really hope we do. I really hope we do. And and like they said, the new Warriors have always been this very like, we are going to really lean into the zeitgeist and have these characters like you get like Night Thrasher rode a fucking skateboard in the 90s. It's always been silly stuff. And hell, Civil War, one of the biggest, most iconic Marvel storylines of all time, happens because the New Warriors dropped the ball because they were a reality TV show. They've always leaned into this very funny social commentary thing. And it doesn't surprise me that we have a new iteration of the New Warriors to do that right now. And maybe that's the case with screen time. because you're leaning into just the concept of a thing becoming a character in the same way that Night Thrasher was, skateboarder edginess. I listen to, grunge music and scream at my mom, stereotype, the 90s, and the New Warriors were a reality TV show in the 2000s. Snowflake and Say So. Someone said Snowplace and
Safe Flake
and Safe Flake. Yeah, those characters, those groups, they're not an idea. They're not like a. This is just a thing that happens now. The way that the New Warriors have kind of always been written to be, and that feels, especially coming from this team of writers, kind of exploitative. Again, non-binary people and queer people as a whole are not the I'm an edgy skateboarder fad that was in the 90s. Or
you mean sexuality is not a choice?
You know what, Travis? I think that might be what I'm saying.
Who would have thunk?
Nor do I think it's there's a weird commodification happening here, which happens in all art because at its core, these are all industries. You have to make $1 somewhere. I get that. It feels weird and icky. And like they're all, that the existence of these characters is a writer's room full of white guys missing the fucking point. And I want to be wrong. I want this story to be I want this story and everything they do with it to be groundbreaking. And with that, I give the floor to you guys to say your final thoughts on this very strange story.
I don't think I have anything else.
I don't like it. I'll probably continue to not like it. I hope I'm wrong. I'm probably going to hate it.
I probably won't even look into it.
No, you don't read that many comics to begin with. So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not that I'm like consciously neglecting it.
Yeah.
It's just that I'm.
Well, no, I am going to read this. And once the shops open back up, or hell, I might even start reading comics digitally, which will break my heart to do it. With everything happening right now, I want to read this because I actively want to be proved wrong.
Ooh, idea for anyone who wants to take it, has the means. Imagine a comic book of a fixed length, but it's like electronic. It feels like a comic book, but you just pick a comic and it turns into that comic book.
I'll probably write a story about that with screen time eventually. It doesn't matter.
Isn't that a cool idea?
It is a cool idea. I like it.
Like it has pages, but they're all digital pages.
Yeah.
That'd be really
I like it.
Anyway, sorry.
Workshop that. That'll be how we fund this from now on.
Right.
Is the digital comic book.
Patreon is a great place to show your support for the show. It only takes $1, and you get to submit Q&A videos, Q&A questions for the Q&A video, along with a lot of other benefits.
Yes, especially a lot of stuff coming now that we have nothing else to do.
Speak for yourself. I'm essential.
You are essential, and we love
Essential human being.
You're all essential
I
human
loved when
beings.
Mike, the Condon, was like...
I love how we were addressing him by his full
Title.
I loved when he was talking...
All you're missing of Michael, the Condon of 2 Med 2. Like, just say the full... Yeah.
I loved when Michael, the Condon of 2 Med 2, commented on the fact that he was like, you know your true worth whenever the governor declares you essential.
Yeah, basically. With that, we've been going through some trying times here because of COVID-19 wrecking everything. Because of that, we've had a lot of time indoors to consume and watch and do all kinds of fun stuff. With that, which one of you gentlemen wants to go first for our things we're quarantine watching?
I'll go. I'll talk about what I'm doing, trying to kill time, I suppose.
I'm going to stretch my legs while you do that.
Well, believe it or not, I've been watching Madam Secretary.
Oh, my butt. That wasn't at you. Oh, God. Sorry, I didn't mean to pull the
Take
card.
a walk.
I am going to. Oh. I have podcast
Take a walk,
ass.
Mr. Hamilton. Take a walk.
Hamilton, take a walk. We will reconvene after a brief recess. Hamilton, a word. You were late.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We fought for these ideas. We shouldn't settle for less.
Copy strike.
Don't be
Continue, Joel.
stupid. We don't have
Anyways,
money.
so I've been watching Madam Secretary of all things on
How's that
Netflix. I actually really enjoy
I
it.
like a good political thriller.
Yeah, it's. I mean, my favorite. I think his name's Henry, the husband of Madam Secretary. It's a good watch. I'm enjoying
I
it.
mean, the last time I watched a political drama on Netflix, the lead actor turned out to be a sex offender. So I don't know if I want to take that chance again.
Yikes! I
wanted to get into House of Cards so bad, and because I loved Spacey so much.
I watched season 1 and it's fucking phenomenal. But then I stopped. I don't remember why I stopped watching, because it wasn't because of the sex offender charges. It was way before that. But it's fine. Just leave it.
Sweet.
It was way before that. I just couldn't get into season 2 for whatever reason, and I know it just gets crazier. But then he touches boys, and I don't like that.
Remember when Kevin Spacey was like, "Hey, I'm a child molester, but I'm gay too, so it's okay," and
It cancels-
everybody expected him to. It was like, we understand.
I don't know that everyone was like that, but a couple people were like that, and I'm like, "Are you? Why?"
Oh no, I don't mean everyone was. I'm going to say he was expecting everyone to be like, okay, we got a new member of the team, I guess, was the mentality he was looking for, I suppose. That, and have you seen the weird videos he's released as Frank Underwood?
No.
2 years in a row at Christmas time, he just released weird videos of him kind of vaguely threatening people.
That's good. I mean, the show opens with him breaking a dog's neck, so
Yeah.
it's great. Hey, you were saying, Joel.
So love that show. I it's my guilty pleasure, I suppose, but more on the end of what is appropriate for this podcast.
No, it's anything, honestly. It doesn't have to be.
I've been watching now. Mad shout outs to Disney Plus, because I can't ask for a better streaming service at this particular moment in my life. I watched Frozen 2, which they released early because of the situation.
Okay. I'm sorry. I keep stepping on your thing. We agree. Objectively speaking, Lost in the Woods is the greatest song to come out of Disney in the last 10 years.
Absolutely. Oh, it hit my heart like a red brick.
That was so specific.
Specifically, red brick.
Yeah, not a brown brick, not a maroon
chest.
brick, but a red brick. No, I'm not even kidding. It hit me so hard, and I was actually tearing up by the end of it. Oh, Lost in the Woods. I think from the people I've talked to, actually, they were considering it one of the worst songs in the movie. And I said,
Names and addresses, please.
I think that's very underrated song for sure. Absolutely.
It's the best song in the
isn't
movie.
Isn't it the only song that, besides the In the Barn song with
the only song
I
that
think
they had Jonathan, King George, and Hamilton Groff sing in
Right.
these two movies. Yes.
Right. It's his first real song, and oh man, perfect timing. But anyways,
heard the Weezer version?
Frozen 2.
It's not as good.
I love that movie. I thought it was really great. I thought it was a lot better than Frozen 1 personally. And that could be also because I just think it's less fluffed up with the attention that it got. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
I think Frozen 2 is a lot bolder than the first one. I think the first one was bold insofar as it had this self-referential sense of how it handled Disney princess movie tropes with the whole oh, you're gonna marry him the day after you met him type thing, where they called attention to those weird things that happen in Disney princess movies. And this one was very okay,
it
know
was
these
its own
characters.
storyline, yeah.
Exactly. You know these characters, you know the events of the first movie. Now we are really going to put these characters through the ringer.
Yeah, it definitely felt less structured. Well, and what I mean by that is
no, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah,
right.
That makes sense.
Before the original Frozen movie, I just felt like it was this after this after this after this after this. It was exactly what I expected every single step of the way, and it was just a classic Disney movie.
Yeah, I understand that.
So Disney Plus, loving the ability to go on, pick any Star Wars movie I want, essentially just enjoy life. I mean, almost every Star Wars movie I'd ever want.
Yeah.
Because The Rise of Skywalker isn't on there yet. I think there's a few.
Oh, you do want to go back and watch? I'm kidding. I'm going to once it's on Disney Plus.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The only Star Wars movies that aren't on there currently
Is Solo.
Yeah, Solo and Rise of Skywalker.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I knew there was another
And
one.
the Ewok movies, if you really want to be a stickler.
But I also binge watched Clone Wars before KNR, the latest KNR episode. Go watch that. And I can't even think of anything else I'm doing really, except editing the videos and stuff. For this. YouTube has been my friend. I've been watching a lot of YouTube at night, getting into whiskey, like.
Getting into whiskey, just casually.
I just had to stop.
I
just had to stop what I was saying. No, I've been watching a lot of Whiskey Tribe.
Yeah, you mentioned that before.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to experiment and find like I don't know. I grew up wanting to be that guy that had the whiskey glass like.
Yeah,
I don't even know what you call it. Like, you know, the
there's like
the
a
drink
bottle,
stand.
Yeah, it's like
it's on cart with your you know the glass.
Yeah,
I won't even call it a bottle. Really, it's more of like a cube.
Yeah, I know.
With the nice glass topper. You know what I'm talking about. I'm sure there's a technical name for it.
Yeah, a bottle.
We've all seen movies.
Right. Like, I just feel like that's
I watched the first season of House of Cards.
That's definitely something I want in my house one day. And if I'm going to do that, I'm going to need to know what I like. I'm going to need to know what whiskeys I am preferential to. Having gone to Ireland, I got to experiment a little bit with different whiskeys. Naturally, Irish
as you
whiskeys.
would. Whenever, if/when you come over for my birthday on Wednesday, you have to try that peanut butter whiskey.
Yeah, but here's the thing: that doesn't really count. I will try it gladly, but it doesn't count as a whiskey because it's a flavored whiskey.
Okay, so when I get you fucked up on my like blue raspberry vodka, it's not real vodka.
Okay, hold on. Let's take a step back because I'm going to get a lot of hate for that. So I just want to clarify. What I mean by that is it's not whiskey out of a cask.
I want you to drink an entire bottle of peanut butter whiskey, then drive your car 10 feet down the road, and when you get pulled over, tell the officer that pulls you over, it's not real.
That's good.
That's not real whiskey, officer. It's
officer,
peanut butter.
Officer, I swear, it wasn't real whiskey. Like, and just watch his face just light up with excitement. Then he gets to put 6 warning shots in your chest.
No, Joel's white. He's fine.
Yeah, you're right.
They don't discriminate people who look
right.
like him.
We're bringing it down. We're bringing it down.
I'm not.
We're bringing it back. Anyways.
Don't worry. My watching has been awful, so don't worry.
The way you like to drink whiskey is a good way. It's a valid way, no matter what. Absolutely. That's all. I'm going to leave it there.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave it right there.
All right, friend.
You have always had a knack for like.
You get that out? Okay, you want to try that again?
I'll kick your ass.
I'll ask you kick. I will.
Joel's an alcoholic. I talk like I'm drunk. No, you've always had this thing where like if somebody, you would describe doing something in a more traditional way. And then somebody would say, oh yes, I also do this thing in a way that's slightly more convenient. You have always gone, that's not the real way to do it ever since you were a kid.
You want to know how to drink coffee?
Yeah.
Not as a fucking milkshake.
Yeah, no, and I'm guilty of making I am very guilty of my coffee tastes like a milkshake. Because I will brew my coffee. I will put like 2 or 3 sweet and low in it,
and it's a valid
creamer,
way.
And I put it in the fridge for the next day.
It's a valid way to drink coffee. It's just
wrong.
Not coffee. It's
wrong.
But like even
you can, if you like it, if you like to do it, I have no right whatsoever to tell you that is not right. It's like. Okay, so
it's just not really coffee as far as you're concerned.
As far as I'm concerned, it loses it becomes milkshake with coffee flavoring instead of coffee with a little bit of milk. Would you like ketchup with that chicken tender? Or would you like that chicken tender with that ketchup? You know what I mean? Like if you
No.
He wants a bottle of ketchup. I'm speaking to Jared.
You're speaking very loudly is what you're doing.
Jared eats condiments. He doesn't eat food. He eats condiments with food. as the side.
I understand the concept you're trying to convey. My point, like, to make that sound not fucking ridiculous, is
he will take a spoon.
Okay, I'm not that bad with ketchup.
Is coffee flavored ice cream coffee? The answer is no. I mean that, like, literally, like, you get a pint of ice cream and it's mocha flavored.
Yeah.
Right? It's not. That's the kind of the point he's trying to say.
Yeah. While exposing me for being a condiment bitch.
And if you
what you are,
add something,
absolutely.
If you add something to something that pollutes its original substance to the extent where it no longer becomes that substance,
I guess.
Right? You can only go so far. So if you
this
come
is gonna
to
be
me,
like a 2-hour podcast.
Right.
I'm so here for it.
If you come to me and
It's
tell
the
me,
condiment cast.
if you come to me and tell me you added a shot of whiskey to your jar of peanut butter and call it peanut butter whiskey,
But that's not what he.
Do you think I just have a giant bottle of peanut butter that's kind of damp?
It's like that all natural peanut butter that isn't mixed. The oil at the top is actually just whiskey.
No. What I was saying with Jared, for the listeners and for Travis and Jared, just to specify, what I'm talking about is that if you take whiskey out of the barrel when it's done fermenting and you add something to it that isn't water,
I don't think though that's what they. I don't know the process of making peanut butter whiskey. I need to clarify.
is it a peanut butter flavored whiskey?
Yes.
Yes.
Or is it a peanut butter whiskey?
It's. Oh my god.
Did you really?
Did you?
He said that. He said it and realized he sounded like a fucking imbecile.
Okay, what I'm saying is...
So anyway, I finished Assassin's Creed 3 this past week.
Okay, Jared will prove me wrong completely if he comes to me.
We'll have an
and
update on
shows
Instagram
me,
on Wednesday.
And he
all of our
shows me that
stories.
the whiskey is actually fermented with peanut butter, imbuing the taste of peanut butter, or if it was added after the fact.
It was probably some form of the former. I'd have to guess.
I would like to think that it was the former.
Yeah.
In which case it becomes real whiskey. Because you don't call it...
For Christ's sake, Joel.
I've gone on a tangent.
You really have.
No.
Okay. I'm done. If you understand me, you understand me. If not, that's fine. I'm okay with it.
I understand you. I just think you're ridiculous, and I love you. I need you to know I love you very much, and I respect your viewpoints. But also, you took this way out of proportion.
Right. I'm sorry.
Joel has a habit of making the hills that he dies on very less than molehills. Like, it's very rarely... You get so... Like, I get fired up about, like, really weird specific stuff. You just go like this... Like, this fraction of an idea... I'm angry about it.
I'm not angry about it.
I'm passionate.
Yeah, I'm
right.
passionate.
I'm not angry. I'm passionate. I'm not angry.
Oh, God.
Oh, gosh. I'm taking a walk.
Jefferson, take a walk.
We'll reconvene after a short recess.
Travis, what have you been doing to pass the time during the Corona Pyre?
For whatever reason, speaking of Hamilton, I think it's because I listened to so much Hamilton over the past couple weeks. I felt this like need to play Assassin's Creed 3 again, and it is just as bad as I remember in every sense. That game is dog shit, and I love it. I mean that both mechanically, like the game is just broken.
Yeah.
And also the story is fucking abysmal. It is one of the worst written piles of dog shit I've ever played. And I can't get enough of it. And, like, there's so many moments that it's trying to play off as these big cathartic moments. Like, at the end of the game, right before you kill Lee, when you're, like, in the Animus bit.
Yeah.
And he's giving his last, like,
his villain speech, yeah.
No, not Lee. I'm talking about Connor.
Oh.
He's giving his last, like, I'm finally gonna, like, fulfill this thing I've wanted to do since I was a kid. And he's shaving his head, he's cutting his hair, and he puts the war paint on.
Oh, yeah.
That moment should feel so cool, and it doesn't at all. Like, I just don't fucking care. The first time, first of all, Connor just knows that Hatham's his dad. So then you're left to fill in, like, was he told as a kid? Was he shown a picture somehow by his Native American mother? How did Achilles know? Like, the game never tells you any of that.
I'm trying to remember how you say Connor's Native American name.
Ratahagetun. I only know because I started playing the DLC today, and that's because he doesn't have the name Connor in that timeline.
Yeah.
It's a Ratahagetun, I think, is how you say it.
Yeah.
And if it's not,
I think you're
sorry.
right. I think
As
my brain's saying Ranuhaketan, but I might be wrong.
yeah.
They're approximations of each other.
Yeah. So
we're not native speakers.
No, you're not.
It's totally okay.
but like he shows up at Achilles' house and they're talking about the Templars that are active in America, and he's just like, you have to kill your father, and there isn't like a wait, that's my dad. It's yeah, I know. And then later when they meet, because there's that their point where you're both like, hey, wait, we both want the Americans to win. Okay, so let's work together for like 35 seconds, I guess.
Yeah.
And they're like, Hatham ambushes Connor, and there isn't this moment of like Hatham realizing that like they just have known about each other. At no point but prior to this have they interacted.
Yeah.
Beyond like a glance across a crowd. So like how? How do they know who each other are?
I remember like whenever I played that, I might have been like 15, 16, 17, that ballpark. And I remember being frustrated about it. Like this is such a moment.
The story just makes no sense at
Yeah.
all. It's like I don't mind it skipping around. Assassin's Creed games tend to do that, but like it's not that it's skipping around time wise. It's skipping around major events that should matter.
Yeah.
That make other
Big story
moments that it shows me matter. Like I would care about this cathartic moment where you sit down with Charles Lee in a bar and kill him. That moment would be so cool if Charles Lee had more moments than just the interaction they have when Connor's a kid and that's it.
Yeah.
And then I think they also interact in the prison once when they're in the prison break. And that's it. Like they don't interact at all. It's just since I have a kid, I've wanted to kill Charles Lee, and then we don't see Charles Lee at all.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Versus like Ezio going after Rodrigo Borgia, where he doesn't know he's going at, like he's like, I gotta avenge my father and my brothers. And he thinks he's done it, and he's like, wait, there's more of them. I gotta get more of them. Goes after more of them. Like, eventually he's like, okay, to properly do this, I have to get rid of Rodrigo Borgia.
Yeah.
Like, that, again, I think I'm just biased.
I think that's interesting, because, like,
I don't know why
played the Ezio era. I didn't.
Yeah, I started it with 2.
Yeah, and I started with the Kenway saga there, where it's Hatham and Connor. And,
yeah, I can't imagine
Edward.
why the little Dago boy would have a predisposition to the Italian story. Can't figure that out. But I just like... But it's the same thing. I don't like Revelations, the last Ezio game, because it just doesn't feel like it's part of his... Like, it just feels unnecessary.
Yeah.
You know? Like, at very least we get these cool bits of Altair after the first game, like, setting seeds for later. Like, he invents the gun, which, like, no, he didn't. No,
He
fucking
invents
didn't.
the gun. You just have the level where you play as Altair just running around with an AR-15.
Well, no, like he's like over 100 years old, and you just walk into this chamber with this guy, like, and you like the pistol on the hidden blade that he just raises up and shoots, and you're like, this didn't happen. This like this can't be
You don't
real.
have the technology to do that.
But besides playing a very bad game that I love very much, I found my new favorite stand-up comic, like I mentioned before, Daniel Sloss. He's a Scottish jackass, and I love him very much.
Please talk. I really want to hear you just go.
He has 2 hours on Netflix. They're under one, kind of like Chappelle specials tend to get lumped as like packs of 2.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like the Daniel Sloss live shows. It's Dark and X. Or Dark and Jigsaw. And
Yeah,
then
X is on HBO.
And X is... oh my God. So... Don't watch Jigsaw if you're in a fragile relationship. Fair warning. You didn't get to that part.
Will it make things worse?
Okay, so he is caused with that he is aware of. He has caused 160 divorces and over 90,000 breakups
Why?
with Jigsaw. We will show you the back half of Jigsaw and you'll understand. Again, you fell asleep right before you got to the main bit.
Right before the Jigsaw set. Yeah.
Yeah. Dark is
A lot.
and like granted it's about like a high impact loss in your life, something I recently experienced, so watching it was very cathartic for me. I really enjoyed it. But I also knew what it was about going in. And so like the way he sets up that serious moment at the end, I saw it from like a mile away and I was like, son of a bitch.
Yeah. No, having seen... Because I watched Jigsaw before
first.
dark.
Yeah, same.
On your recommendation, of course. And I remember watching... I'm so glad I watched Jigsaw first. Not from you, obviously not from your perspective with Dark. Because your life experience, so different on that. But for me, I had a takeaway that was very much... I don't think I would have liked him if I watched Dark first.
And that's
Because it's that edge shit that eventually I would have grown tired of if I didn't understand his mindset going in.
Yeah, and that's the first bit of his that I had ever seen. It was like scrolling something, might have been like YouTube. And it was his bit about... or maybe on Facebook or something, because it wasn't... I didn't click on it. It was playing, and I was like, oh, it's a stand-up set. I'll watch it.
Yeah.
But it was his bit about when you're like... if you're a parent and your kid on Christmas morning is just thanking Santa Claus and that upsets you...
Yeah.
Which, like, it could, you know. That's how a doctor feels when you thank God for them saving your life. And, like... when that clip... without any of the stuff before or after is nice, because like before that joke and after that joke, there's this whole setup and like die down of, I'm aware this is a kind of shitty opinion, but it's mine and I have it. And afterwards, like he's just saying like, again, you were allowed to be mad at that joke. It's still my opinion, and like we can have that discourse. That is not there in the clip I saw. It's just the joke. And so I was like, oh, this guy's just an edgelord, and edgelords are sharing it. Like, that was the way I consumed it.
Yeah, and I got... The one that I watched of his was very much him doing the very... I may have said this before, the very RuPaulian, like, if you don't love yourself, how the hell can you expect anybody else? Can you expect to love anybody else? Type thing, where I was like, oh, okay, that was sweet. And then that's all I saw of him. And I was so glad that I got a whole special with Jigsaw that is all that very introspective, like him flexing his legs on an emotional and almost philosophical way, where I was like, okay, now you won me over.
Yeah, that's exactly. And again, like he has that in Dark. It's just that like what I had seen from Dark was warped in a way that I didn't like what I saw. But due to genius, comedically, just with his everyday life, his joke structure is just perfect. Like his delivery is just perfect. He even like he's self-referential with his structure. Like he notes about it later and like with different bits. I just love it so much. And X, I can't tell you what it's about because I didn't know going in, and I had to stop. Like I had to stop and take a lap because like it's the same structure. He has like joke, serious bit. The serious bit hit me so hard, I had to stop and pace my house a couple times.
Dude, this guy is packing heat. You don't understand. I believe everything Travis is saying right now.
All right, we'll have to watch it.
It's the impact of Dark with the like philosoph, because like in Dark he has this, like he talks about the death of his sister when he was a kid and how like his opinion on the like, you know, you don't get to be offended on behalf of my sister, she's my sister.
Yeah,
I love that. You know, and it's that, not that attitude specifically, but that like dark humor about a dark topic that needs to be talked about more often because we've labeled it as taboo, and that's not good for us mentally. With the like the setup and the like how he frames it in Jigsaw that, like, I'm talking about this thing and I know I have the right opinion here. Because he does. You know. About a topic that I will not spoil for you because you're going to love it.
I'm excited for it. I really am.
It's so good. I can't wait. He's touring, so he has his new show. I forget what he said it's called. But I think his American tour is next year. And he's releasing a book that kind of pairs with it. That comes out on our election day. So, go vote and buy Daniel Sloth's book. I know I will. And hopefully he'll be near enough that... I think he went to Pittsburgh on his last American tour, so...
Oh, we got to see him.
Yeah,
then.
I have to.
Yeah, no, I'm coming with you. I need it. See if you can get seats as good as you got for Gus
It
Johnson.
depends on where he goes.
Oh, yeah, of
because I
course.
don't know where he went in Pittsburgh.
Oh, okay.
So, I also imagine the tickets will be a little more expensive.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Speaking of which, Gus uploaded a video while we were recording.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I have the bell rung for him.
Yeah, he's in like quarantine isolation right now.
Oh, Gus is?
Yeah, I don't think he's sick, but it's just one of those like
Flatten the curve.
yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't blame him for that.
Might have had possible exposure kind of deal.
Yeah, I don't know. I know that like because him and his roommate aren't in the same apartment right now. His roommate's in the apartment. He's with his girlfriend in her apartment. It's a whole sitch. I had a thing I wanted to say. One last thing I wanted to say about sloths, and I can't remember what it is now. You guys didn't derail me. Just like in my own rambling, I lost it.
Okay, bye. He's coughing.
If I get it, I get it.
Was it a tickle?
Yeah, it was tickling my throat.
Better have been. Get our families sick.
Yeah.
I'm just messing.
I know.
I also like. I've just been watching a lot of stand up recently.
Yeah.
Taylor Tomlinson, who's she's like 25, and she has a Netflix special, and she is phenomenal. She is so funny.
Only I didn't have homework. That's what I would be doing.
Well, recording a Netflix special.
Yeah.
No, watching stand
It
up.
would just be 2 hours of Joel screaming about what is and isn't real whiskey.
Hey, that could actually be a real like stand up bit if I'm just saying.
Well, that's like watching all of this. I'm like, I kind of want to give it a try. It's like one of the few performance art things I've never done. And part of me's like, I don't know how good at it I'd be, but also I'm like, I have a story of a time I kicked a baby. Like I could definitely make that work.
And those are one of those. I think a lot of people have like their stories.
Yeah.
That like they could like
work in a way.
Okay, so like this is gonna be my new in town bit. This is gonna be my Jigsaw bit. This is gonna be my that.
Well, go ahead, write it up, man. We'll have a show here. That'd be great. We'll record it, put it up on the
That'd be weird.
website.
I wouldn't like that.
You might be in the next.
I have a recommendation for you, and if I can find it whenever I go home, I will have it for you. Hell, we can all watch it on Wednesday, honestly, because it's my birthday and I get to dictate that kind of thing.
Yeah, I suppose you do, don't you?
Are you familiar with the comedian Eddie Izzard?
I think so. You've mentioned him before.
You have mentioned him on multiple occasions.
So, he was on Joe Rogan last year, and he mentioned being trans. So I know he identified male in the past. I'm pretty sure he's still using he, him pronouns. So I'm going to use he, him, but could be wrong. So apologies if I am wrong, and any other Eddie Izzard fans who are listening can correct me on that. However, his like breakout special, Dress to Kill, is basically the most manic, hilarious, very tongue-in-cheek, witty history lesson you've ever had. Like he just like there almost a quarter of it, if not more, is dedicated to just talking about World War II and British imperialism. He is excellent. He talks about like the Cold War and the whole Ich bin ein Berliner thing with JFK.
Yeah.
Like he has the funniest thing, hey, he's American, he's a donut, he's a fucking donut. It's a slang. Absolutely phenomenal. Love Eddie Izzard. You would love Eddie Izzard. I don't think Dress to Kill is like floating around on any streaming services or anything. Phenomenal. So I think you'd really like Eddie. Oh God, he's so fucking good. That special of it, especially, is very good.
Mm-hmm.
But he's actually somebody back like way before like Vine and TikTok and stuff like that. It was like he's one of the first people I can think of who had audio attributed to him that showed up in other videos. Because he had a bit where he was talking about like what it must be like in the break room on the Death Star. This isn't in Dress to Kill, but it was in a different special where he just was riffing on like, you know, what it must be like in the Death Star canteen. And like somebody like did a whole video, like a whole like Lego stop motion video around the bit where it's just like basically Vader just like forcing, not like the Force, but like, you know, kind of just strong arming his way through the cafeteria. Just like, get out of my way, I want my lunch type thing. It's funny. I enjoy him. You'd like him too.
But yeah, check out Daniel Sloss on Netflix and HBO if you have it. And if you don't, get a free trial like I did for like a week and then cancel it immediately. So you have it for the week and then just watch X. It's good.
Well, I have the time. Blast through all of Game of Thrones now.
Nah, you don't have to.
I know.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Well, that sums it up, Jared.
So I've been catching up on some much needed TV time. After a lot of people in my life have been telling me to, I finally buckled and watched the Netflix show You.
What the fuck is the show about? Because I have no idea.
Okay.
Everyone talks about it, and it keeps getting like bumped to me by Netflix. Like, hey, you should watch this. And I'm like, you made this. I know this is like biased, so.
So, okay, I will say this much. You, I like it. I quite like it, in fact. It suffers from what I will lovingly call Riverdale writing.
Go on.
Wherein this show is batshit insane. And I kind of have that issue, granted, you know, and this is coming from the Star Wars fan, who I know people don't talk like that, but they're all wearing fancy outfits and it's in space and there's laser swords, so I can accept this writing that is attempting really hard to be Shakespearean in its prose, but doesn't quite meet the mark. People don't talk the way they talk in You. And that kind of frustrates me a little bit because there is that whole, like, I don't know anybody who unironically says the word hashtag in front of something type thing. And there's another character named Blythe who they're trying to make it very clear that she is like the worst kind of literature nerd on the planet, who talks as though she is actively critiquing a book. Aside from things that, for me, are nitpicks that I can kind of laugh at, it's a show about a gentleman by the name of Joe Goldberg. And he has a not pleasant childhood. That is an understatement, and I don't want to get too in the weeds because I don't want to spoil it for anybody who does decide to watch it, especially you guys. And he has a really bad habit of becoming obsessed and fixated on women. So the whole first season is about him becoming infatuated with and obsessed with a woman named Guinevere Beck. Goes by Beck for short. And the show follows him falling in what he would consider mad love with Beck. He become very madly in love by his own standards with Beck. And his ugly pursuit of that love. Joe is a horrible person, and the show does a really good... Joe does sympathizing with the... You does sympathizing with the devil the way I wish Joker did. Mm-hmm. Where it's very Dark Knightian in that way. Where I hate Joe. Watching the show, I want all of the horrible things Joe is doing to bite him in the ass. And I want him to get caught for the awful things he's doing and to be exposed for being the very selfish megalomaniac that he is. However, while he's doing it, god damn do you love to watch him work because of how intelligent he is.
So like, and Walter White at the end of Breaking Bad.
Yeah, that's a great example. Because like, and it's again like you're rooting against him, but you love watching him work.
Yeah,
because he's very. It does that thing that like Sherlock, both the Robert Downey Jr. and Benedict Cumberbatch versions, do really well. Where a lot of the show is his internal monologue. A lot of the show is him watching somebody walk in the room and be like, "Oh, okay, you're wearing this and this and this," which probably means on some level you want this, 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 and this is your mindset. And like because the show opens. And he himself is a total, savant when it comes to reading and literature, that he is very, very well read. And like the show opens and like people are coming in the bookstore and he's just kind of like actively going, this is what you're reading. This is who you are as a person to himself. And that's where it starts. And he very much, he's very good at being your new favorite villain. Like me personally, it's not hard for me to hate him, but I hate how much I enjoy seeing him get to work.
Mm-hmm.
And he also occasionally will do awful things to awful people, which kind of like the show begs. From my personal experience of the show, it feels like it's trying to make me gauge at what point Joe is justified. And at what point I'm willing to accept what he's doing. But at the end of the day, it's all out of this obsession with the idea of another person that he's trying to win the affection of in the most evil ways he can. And at that point, I'm like, but you're not Batman, so stop pretending that you're Batman, because you're not Batman. Stop it. So
You'll never be Batman.
You'll never be the Batman. But yeah, I quite enjoy it, and I can't remember the last time I got this viscerally upset with television in like the final moments of the second season, and the next season's coming next year. The final moments of season 2 are so maddening. Like, I remember fucking screaming at my TV. Because he does like the one thing that you're like, okay, it's all over now. You don't have to do any more dumb shit at this point. Just stop. And he can't stop being this monster that he is. And I think it's the moment that the show finally tells the audience, even if you are unironically rooting for him, and just because you have for whatever reason, you think that because Joe is the protagonist, he is also the good guy. That's the moment where they go, he's vile. Remember this moment for the rest of the show. If what we have made abundantly clear hasn't stuck with you yet, this is the moment you have to decide that you hate Joe Goldberg. Now we'll leave it there. Absolutely love you. I'm on like the tail end of the final season of Daredevil. And like I was telling you guys right before we started, something I always loved about Daredevil, for me personally, Daredevil is my second or third, depending on the day, Marvel hero. Mm-hmm. I've always been a huge Daredevil fan. As a kid, I watched the shitty Ben Affleck movie many times, and looking back on it, it's dog shit, but it still has Matt Murdock in it, and I love everything going on with Matt as a character, even when it's taken to that ultra gritty new metal nonsense. With the show, it's always been this really interesting way that they meld the superhero and crime drama genres. In season 1, it was very 50-50 between superhero crime fighter antics and detective crime thriller. Season 2 leans more into the superhero-ness and less away from the crime drama stuff. It's still a crime drama at its core, but it's more wearing the superhero veneer a little bit prouder than Season 1. Season 3 completely leans in to the superhero. It is, the crime drama element. And it is more that than it is a superhero show, but it's still at its core is about Matt Murdock, Daredevil, the man with no fear, the devil of Hell's Kitchen, trying to protect this city from Wilson Fisk. It is post The Defenders, so it does start out with the whole thing of him being presumed dead at the end of the first season, or the only season of Defenders and the Midland Circle battle, and it goes from there and it hits the ground running, and just great exploration with Matt. Daredevil as a character has always had a grimness to him, and he has a grimness to him that is always made more light by how close he is to Karen Page and Night Nurse and Foggy Nelson. And as a character, he really needs that, because when he doesn't have those anchors, he falls into a horrible, horrible place. And this season is that horrible, horrible place. And it is seeing Matt Murdock in that very Luke in The Last Jedi kind of way of not really believing in what he fights for. Not that he doesn't believe in what he's fighting for, but feeling as though it's empty and hollow, and trying to find being Daredevil over being the devil of Hell's Kitchen, if that distinction makes any sense. I've not finished the season yet. Like I said, I'm on, I don't even remember what number episode I'm on, but I know I'm in the back half, maybe even the back third of the season. And by the time we record next, I will be done.
Have you seen it, Travis?
I haven't seen season 3, no.
Okay, well, how about if you have time, which we all have plenty of nowadays, except the fact that you actually have a job and we don't.
A job that is considered essential.
Right. If you do end up watching it, maybe we can talk about it more in depth.
I have a lot of catching up. I stopped watching the Netflix stuff at Defenders, I think. I didn't watch all of Defenders. I think I watched the opening episode, and that was the last thing I saw.
Mm-hmm.
And I just once I missed that and other things started coming out, I just never caught up.
I don't think I'll ever watch Defenders. If I'm being completely honest with you. Luke Cage and Defenders and Jessica Jones, those three, I just cannot get hooked into.
Jessica Jones is phenomenal. I haven't watched the latest season.
I watched the first. I watched the first season, but I just didn't.
Really, you got through all of the first season of Jessica Jones and you couldn't do it.
No,
I adored both
Luke
Cage and
Cage?
Jessica Jones. I adored both first seasons.
I can't do either of them or Defenders. I just can't get.
You hate women and black people. Joel hates women and black people. That's what we got from today.
I can't even I have no words.
You set yourself up so bad.
I want to deny every single aspect of that and be like, no, that's not true. But
you realize it sounds just as bad if you start defending yourself.
Exactly. So yeah. I just stopped talking.
Back away.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm kidding. Joel hates all minorities.
Well,
I don't hate all of them, just most of them. Come on, guys.
I'm a lover of all, everybody. A lover of all.
If you haven't watched Defenders, the only thing you really need to know is that in their epic battle, put that in quotation marks, with the Hand, it led to a huge battle in this skyscraper in the heart of New York called Midland Circle, and in an attempt to stop the Hand from resurrecting a fucking dragon that would cull New York City, they brought the building down, and Matt stayed behind because the Hand resurrected Elektra, and he wanted to try to save Elektra, but in her dying moments with him, finally came to, and they just kind of held each other as the building collapsed, and Daredevil was presumed dead. But as season 3 picks up, they make it clear that they never reported Matt missing. So it was just like, we haven't heard from Matt in a minute. It has nothing to do with the fact that he's fucking Daredevil. And then Daredevil turns up and is being nursed back to health by the church that he goes to. And that's where that picks up. So that's all you really need to know from Defenders, is that a building collapsed on him and everybody thinks he's dead. That, and he wanted to try to save Elektra again, and the fact that just anytime Matt Murdock interacts with Elektra, it's gonna fuck him up in some way, shape, or form. Yeah. But if you know anything about Daredevil, you knew that. But yeah, that's really what I've been doing. Also, on the front of Assassin's Creed, I tried to play Assassin's Creed Origins.
Yeah, how was that?
It's not bad, but I don't think I have it in me to get into another Assassin's Creed game. And which upsets me so much, because that was and is one of my favorite franchises of all time. But
Black Flag's still your favorite?
Huh?
Black Flag's still
Black Flag is always going to be my favorite.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I always, 2 has more nostalgia for me, so I go with 2, but 2 in Brotherhood, I could play. That's 2 is my game as a high schooler, where if I had a Saturday to kill, I would just do just a quick run of Assassin's Creed 2, you know.
Well, that's how it was for a long time with Black Flag. But I can't with Black Flag anymore. I tried to play Black Flag a little bit the other day, and I played for maybe an hour, and I was like, all right, I'm done.
I can't really do video games anymore, honestly.
I got the new Doom yesterday.
Yeah, we were tweeting about that.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm not as good as Doom as I remember being.
I really need
I heard that's one of the best games of all time, honestly.
It's a classic, definitely.
Yeah,
the Doom
Doom
is
came out and it was
it's one of
hit
those,
the charts.
Yeah. I played the 2016 Doom well after it came out, and I really enjoyed it. And Doom Eternal so far has been okay. Like I said, I am just not good at it. You know, my wheels are rusty, especially with it's faster. Or I think I want it to be faster than it is, and then when I try to speed up, it doesn't keep up with me, and then I just can't sync up with the pacing of the game very well. And that's not the game's fault, that's mine. But I've only put it maybe 2 hours, not even, into it. But it's fun.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think obviously I love it. As if I said otherwise, Connor Chiquiti would drive here and break my kneecaps. I'm normally only really good for a really big expansive game every so often. And I think Fallen Order kind of consumed all the energy I had for that.
Still haven't played it.
It's very good.
I keep forgetting you don't have an Xbox One.
We'll get there.
If I manage to
Wednesday.
if I manage to
game.
If I do get a Switch in the next week or so, which I want to, I will happily loan you my Xbox so you can play Fallen Order.
All right. I might take you up on that.
Because obviously I played it on story mode because I just wanted to get through it without any spoilers in that weekend.
Yeah.
And I loved it, and then I wanted to go back and replay it. And I also was because I'm OCD and I loved how my lightsaber looked in my first playthrough because I built it to resemble my Galaxy's Edge one. Pardon me. Oh God, I thought that was going to be quiet. I really badly was obsessing with finding all the parts to mine because I accidentally ended up with the lightsaber ended up building when I played Fallen Order. I was I'm pretty sure these are all the parts I wanted to use at Galaxy's Edge. Maybe a couple of these aren't on the template that I want, but I think this is all right. And then I beat it, had that lightsaber built, purple lightsaber and everything. Went to Galaxy's Edge, came back, realized I completely built the lightsaber I wanted to make. And then became, just by happenstance, and then became obsessed on my way harder difficulty version on trying to get every single piece to that lightsaber, which I'm not normally the collector type with those type of games. I know, I'm the guy who goes, okay, here's what all the collectibles look like. I like that, and that. I'm going to seek out these things, and then I'm happy. And I got that way with the outlaw outfit with Cal. Because I'm a little edgy bitch. I was no, I need him to wear black.
He must.
he must be wearing dark colors. So like I went on my like obsessive hunt to find a black jumpsuit. Found the jumpsuit, had my purple lightsaber, beat the game, and I was like, okay, now I'm back to only playing fighters. So, or like Battlefront 2 occasionally. So like that's really all I have the Steam for. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm hoping I'm able to get my hands on a Switch, either as like a birthday thing or with birthday money, so I can just get into Smash.
Yeah.
You know,
I haven't
like,
played Smash in a good minute.
And I also like me blasting through Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2 sheerly for nostalgia. Like I think between Ultimate Alliance and Fallen Order, my gas to like, okay, this is a game that is going to take me fucking forever. I don't have it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm enjoying Origins. Like, it's not bad. And this might be the first time I have a game that I'll just periodically poke my head to.
Yeah. I have games, like, I've gotten to the point in my life where I'll buy a game, like, while it's on sale, thinking, hey, I'll get to this. And I just, like, I own the last Uncharted game. Haven't touched it. I own the Resident Evil 2 remake. Haven't touched it. Witcher 3, I started very briefly, and then
toss a coin to you. Oh, that's another one. I only got like a quarter of the way through The Witcher.
I didn't watch it all.
Now I know what I'm watching after I finish Daredevil.
There you go. Yeah, X by Daniel Sloss.
Yeah, I want to watch that with you, so I want to wait on that.
It's so good.
I think that's all. That's all I've really been doing. So, with that, Joel, where can the lovely people find you?
The lovely people can find me on Instagram at Bass and Bacon Cosplay and JBasonBack Photography.
For
my lovely artistic ability, because that can never be overplayed.
No.
Travis, where can the lovely people find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Travis Political, where I barely post right now because I'm just not in the mood. And I'm not sorry.
Don't be.
Yeah. I think that's it. Jared, where can people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at DarkJedi2552. And be sure that you check out the Nerd Academy podcast on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and if you're feeling generous, please check out our Patreon page where you can donate and help give us some electrical support.
Don't even start.
Can we please talk about that? Because we addressed that over the weekend and I finally asked you.
It was my mistake because I was looking for the image because I run the website. And so
we all agreed whenever the Patreon went live that it would be funny that if the post we made about it had the Bernie Sanders, I am once again asking for your support meme attached to it.
Financial support.
Wait, does it not say that on the website?
It didn't. It said electrical support because someone had edited over it, and I was just scrolling through all like 1,000 of the same thing, thinking, "Oh, they're all the same."
Yeah.
No, accidentally, I copied the wrong one, the one single one that said electrical support. But I fixed it
at least it said electrical, and not something like bigoted.
Right?
Because when I first saw the post and I saw
he thought I was just making fun.
I thought it was like a help us keep the lights on thing.
Which it perfectly, it perfectly works that way.
It's not entirely incorrect. There are lights on this board.
But anyway, so I fixed that this weekend, and all of the posts have the appropriate meme. So
it's still so funny.
Anyways, so yeah, you can find us at, go ahead,
Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and YouTube. Check out our Patreon if you're feeling generous. And
Patreon.com/Nerd Academy Podcast.
Yes, indeed. And check out our website, www.thenerdacademypodcast.com, where you can see all the podcasts there as well. There's a link to our Patreon. And whenever New Warriors comes out, maybe I'll start doing comic book reviews, because I miss doing that. We'll see if you want to upload that shit, with whatever scribble I write.
Thank you for tuning in.
Class dismissed.
There was no class. You're all in quarantine.
Yeah.